Hi everyone, welcome to Comic Book Corner, and this is your host, Spider Slayer, and welcome to another episode of Spider Slayer Stack. Today, this is the stack that we're going to go through. 13 books in all. So with that being said, let's just get right to it, shall we? Okay, first off is Image Comics, issue number 1, Thief of Thieves. This was a featured review that I did on my channel earlier this week, and I must say that Robert Kirkman has done very well in creating the story of a master thief who knows everything and anything there is on how to steal. He has a sidekick that he's taught how to do all his stealing and things like that, and what he's doing is he's planning this master job that takes place in Italy, but little do we know is that he is going to quit that job, and it looks like there's going to be a price that he has to pay for quitting that job. There's a lot of potential in this book. This book has, the possibilities of what's going to happen in the future, where he learned his art or his trade on master thievery or whatever you want to call it. It just looks like a really good series. I enjoyed the first issue, and it sets you right up and goes right into it for the second issue. So I definitely suggest Thief of Thieves. Definitely pick that one up. Alright, so that goes right there on the wall. First one, Thief of Thieves. Next, Marvel, Scarlet Spider, issue number 2. This book, folks, was awesome. This series definitely shows great promise. We completed the first story arc. I also did a featured review on this book if you're interested in Scarlet Spider-Man. Kane, in the beginning of this book, definitely does not want to be the hero, but in the end, he does decide that he wants to change his mind and decides that he wants to be a hero, or kind of like anti-hero, for Houston, Texas. And for whatever reason, if things don't go right, he can cross the border and escape at any time. But the artwork is outstanding in this book. It's top notch. It's looking like it will be a very good book into the future. God knows what kind of crossovers they might do with Spider-Man and Venom and things like that. But I mean, when you're looking at pages like this, and then you're looking at artwork of actual Kane wearing the suit like this, or even another picture like this one here. I mean, you can't go wrong with this book. I mean, just the art alone will attract you to it. And then the last one is, this is, like I said in my main review, it's just like everything that Peter Parker isn't, I mean, he's using guns to shoot guys. I mean, it's awesome. And the one thing is he has to learn how to control his temper. But this is a good book, folks. I definitely suggest that you pick up Scarlet Spider and put it on your list. And the good thing is that it is $2.99. So it is definitely one of those books that might be a good read and is affordable. So next, that goes on the wall. Next, we have The Incredible Hulk, issue number 5. I like this book a lot. I like where the story's gone, and it looks like it'll come to an end in the next issue. But in this particular issue, we get to see how Bruce Banner and the Hulk have split up. And basically what has happened is that Dr. Doom was the one responsible for splitting Hulk and Banner up. And you can see that Doom is right there on the front page. And basically Hulk has to pay a price um, to Doom for doing this for him, and what that price is we don't know yet. You'll have to wait for the next issue. Um, but it was really good to see how Doctor Doom did split them apart. And just in case you guys weren't, familiar with this or not sure of what was going on, and this is a spoiler alert, is that he basically removes parts of Doctor Doom removed parts of Hulk's brain and created DNA samples from Hulk to make Banner, and put parts of Hulk's or Banner's brain in that new body, and that's how we got a new Dr. Banner. Now, why he's so crazy, I'm not sure, but it could be possible that Doctor Doom did do this, but we're not exactly sure. And the artwork is fantastic. There is a different artist doing it from issue 5 and issue 4, but the artwork is still quite well. We still see some crazy ass Hulk-like creatures and a crazy like Hulk ape creature. So I mean, it has its ups and its downs in this particular issue, but it still intrigues me, and I will definitely pick up issue number 6. And if you guys are like the Hulk and you want to be interested in this story, definitely pick this one up, or wait until it comes out in the trade, because I'm sure there's a trade for issues 1 through 6. Excuse my voice, it doesn't seem quite well again, so I don't know what's going on. Next, Deadpool, issue number 50, Dead, Part 1. I have not read Deadpool probably in about the last 6 issues or so. The stories for me were getting a little too whacked out, too no points to me, so I wound up dropping Deadpool. But when I heard that this story was coming out, I decided to pick this up and take a read. I found myself a little bit lost because I'm not familiar exactly what has been going on. I know he's part of the excuse me, Uncanny X-Force right now, in that he's been looking to die, but in this issue we get to see that his other, I think it was Evil Deadpool, who actually got killed, and Deadpool was actually looking for the man who actually had the serum, because he wants to die. And you see so many people involved in this book. I mean, you see Bob, agent from Hydra, he's involved, talking to the Kingpin. You get to see Nick Fury's involved, okay, X-Force is involved, and at the end of the issue, you get to see the man behind it all, and that's what they call the wild card, and it's Tombstone, who's the man that we are looking for here. So, I always loved Deadpool's artwork. It has always been top-notch artwork. I love it. It's great. It's just, it got too goofy for me, and I just couldn't read it anymore. Especially when he went to space and he was married to this fat, like, cow-looking woman and all that crazy stuff. I don't know. I like reading fun things, but when it got to a point where it just kept on going and going, and there was no real plot, and he was so focused on being a hero, I just dropped it. But this is looking very promising, so I'll keep reading this. So definitely, guys, pick this one up if you can. Next, Carnage USA. This is a great series. I do like the artwork in this book. It's like almost like a movie. It's like, I love it, but at the same time, I would love to see a Carnage book that doesn't look like this. I do miss Carnage as a pure comic book form. As much as I do like this, I do like cartoon-like art, like in Deadpool. I would love to see what Carnage would look like in that type of setting again. But this story has been phenomenal. He's basically uses his symbiote to take over the Avengers, and you know, he's taken over. He's taken hostage over this woman and his kids, and you know, I'm not too crazy about the Carnage babies, but um, it's pretty cool. Um, but this is a good read. I mean, there's just so much going on with the government and their symbiotes, and they're finding out how the symbiotes hate each other, and Scorn's getting involved in this whole thing, and Captain America has been possessed, but he breaks free and he calls the government to release um, secret agent. What was it called? 4563. I'm going to release Agent 4563. And they're like, confirmed. And the next thing we see is, this was the best page, I thought. And this is a spoiler as well. This was awesome. That's pretty awesome, guys. Venom there. So it looks like Venom here is part of the Avengers at this point, or the Secret Avengers, because when you look at the front page here, it says, editor's note, this issue takes place after Secret Avengers issue 23. So I haven't read Avengers. I don't read as many Marvel books as I want to, just because a lot of them are so much money, and I just don't have the money to read so many books. I always prefer the $2.99 over the $3.99s, and for me to buy $3.99s, the books has got to be really good, and I enjoy this story, so it's definitely worth my money. And if you guys are looking to pick up a good miniseries, Carnage is, and even the last miniseries when he makes his return, it is awesome. But the next issue is going to be fantastic when you see Venom versus Cletus Cassidy. I think it will be a very, very good issue to read. So that's going up. So speaking of Venom, next we have, here we go, Venom Circle 4 Part 2. Now, this particular part of the series, it wasn't half bad. Now that I actually know what I was kind of in store for, I actually quite enjoyed the second part of this story. Now that the characters were together and they were all doing battles against their biggest fears, I thought it was a decent read. It's very interesting to see how they're going to stop hell spreading from consuming Earth. And Doctor Strange is involved, and Damian's involved in the whole thing, and Ghost Rider, the original one, is trying to hold it together, but it doesn't look like he's gonna hold up too well. So it could be the end of him for all we know. And these creatures here that they're all fighting is really weird, but it's pretty neat because this preacher guy here, this guy here, he takes away like Venom's, you know, power, and this brain-like thing, you know, gives Hulk orders, and there's this cheerleader chick that is nice on the inside, but she's evil in the inside. So I mean, it's really, really cool. It's definitely not my favorite read, but again, now that I knew what I was expecting to read in this book, I can tolerate it now. I understand kind of like what's going on. So, and I think that the next one is going to be about X-23, more about her and who she fights, and yeah, that's about it for this one. It wasn't bad, so I definitely suggest, you know, if you're into it, pick it up. Whoa. All right. I bought this, and I was on the fence about it, and I started reading it, and I'm done. I can't. I tried so hard with Superman, and I just can't get into him. I've never been a huge Superman fan, but I definitely do like the old Superman better. I like Superman in Justice League. That's where I like Superman, and that's about all I can take from him. in DC Comics. I just can't get into them. I read the first 5 issues of Action Comics. I liked the first, I think it was 4 issues, and then after issue 5, I didn't like it anymore. And then issue 6, I don't know. I'm just not into it. And I dropped the other Superman as well. And even though the artwork is nice, I just, I just don't. I can't. I just don't. I have too many books. This thing also is $3.99, and I'm just not into it. I just can't do it. I'm not into the books that you pay an extra dollar for that give you 8 pages of a different story. I just don't like that. If you do anything, just add more to the story, the original story that's here. Excuse me. But again, I'm definitely dropping Action Comics. I didn't get through more than 8 pages of this book before I just decided to say, you know what, I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to read it. So sorry, Superman fans and friends out there for, looking to buy this one, but I'm not into it. So I'm going over here in the wall where you can't see it. Next, another DC Comics 6, Suicide Squad. This book was awesome. I loved it. I enjoyed it so much. I enjoy Suicide Squad since issue 1, and issue 6 is really cool. Harley Quinn runs away, and she's reliving the days with how she was originally a doctor, and how she was having sessions with the Joker, and it was just awesome to see how she's starting to become Harley Quinn, and how much she knows about the Joker before she even met him, because that's that was her job, to make him better, or try to make him better, and it was good read. The artwork in this book is fun. I like it. I enjoy it a lot. The Joker is nicely done here because it's the first time you really get to see him. He's drawn nicely. And the good thing is like Harley reads his mind completely about a knife behind his back. That was pretty cool. I'm trying to see what else that this book had to have. Oh yeah, a yo-yo got eaten up in that last issue or so, and all of a sudden he makes an appearance in here, and I'm trying to find it, but he's like, "Yo, I'm not dead. Someone please help me." And I know it's in here. I just got to try to find it real quick. But I found that hysterical. That was the last thing I expected in this particular issue. Oh yeah, here's the panel right up here, right on the top. So Yo-Yo, who was eaten in the last issue, he's still in there, and he goes, "Please tell them I'm alive. Yo-Yo's still alive." So he's like, can't be digested by the shark. I think that's hysterical. So yeah, it's so funny. And yeah, but you can see that, the Joker just plays with Harley Quinn. She's the one, he's playing with her mind, and it was a great read. And 7 definitely continues the story, because Harley wants a piece of the Joker. If she can't have him at all, she wants a piece of him, and that is his skinned face that was taken from in issue 1 of Detective Comics. So this was a good read, folks. Definitely pick up Suicide Squad if you're interested in, Harley Quinn's origin. It was definitely a nice one. So that's that. Okay. Huntress. Love Huntress. Looking for World's Finest when that comes out. It's a great book to read. Art has always been phenomenal. Just even look at the opening page. You could see the fortress, but then you can see the outline of the Huntress right there. I just think it's just so well done, and the stories run very smoothly, and the colors are done, terrifically, and just all the pictures and just the detail that goes into the Huntress is wonderfully done. I mean, just look at these pictures right here. Very nice. But here she actually gets into the fortress and she's trying to take down the guy that's basically shipping the women back and forth, and she kicks ass. I mean, that's basically what she does in this issue to try to get to the main man here. And she just does a phenomenal job. It's like no mercy with her. And here's another page. And the next issue is the last issue of this particular series. But again, she just goes to town and she takes no prisoner. She shocks this big guy right up here. That's basically what it is. She's trying to get to the main man. And that's basically what the issue is. And she finally gets to him, points the crossbow at his head, and that pretty much ends the issue at the cliffhanger. And it continues and concludes actually in the next issue. But if you're interested in Huntress and you haven't read it yet, I suggest wait for the trade paperback. I'm sure that will be out shortly after this. So definitely pick up the Huntress, guys. It's definitely a good read. And if you like the Huntress, she's coming out with her series with Power Girl, World's Finest, issue number 1. Next, Deathstroke, issue number 6. He is basically fighting Legacy, the third one. It's about this family who has a little girl that's been killed, and basically they just want Deathstroke killed. Meanwhile, in the book, you also learn about Deathstroke's son and how Deathstroke wanted his son to be so perfect, and he wasn't. And it was interesting to see that backstory. And his son did get killed. He was actually held hostage, beat to death, and then a bomb went off. And as Slade basically goes to rescue his son, the whole place blows up. And his son's been dead ever since, and he's been trying to find him. He was reliving this while he was basically almost left for dead by this Legacy character. But of course he doesn't die, and he defeats the Legacy guy, and he's basically still looking for his son because somehow he knows that his son's alive. And this whole time his son has been in the background trying to destroy his father. And in the very last page we see that his son is going to make his return, and his son's name is Ravager, and that's him right there. So this is definitely a spoiler right here if you haven't read Deathstroke. So we're going to see him return, and I'm interested to see if he's going to do battle with his father. So that will be awesome, and it'll be cool to see actually how he actually survived that explosion. So that's there. Green Lantern, issue number 6. Okay. This issue was not my favorite Green Lantern issue that I've ever read. It had some key points because it's kind of setting you up for the future of what's happening in the series. How the Guardians are basically coming up with this new wave of lanterns, and that they're going to destroy the current Green Lanterns. And Sinestro takes a page from the book, from the Black Book, and basically that's the main part of this story. But I wasn't keen on the art on the whole thing because I didn't like I just don't like it because it was just like, this is Hal Jordan right here. Like, Hal Jordan looks like a little kid. I mean, seriously? So I know this was just a guest artist, but I just hope he doesn't come back because I just definitely wasn't feeling it this issue with this whole art and stuff like that. And I wasn't a fan of this character in here. I forgot the guy's name, actually. I'm just drawing a blank right now. He had this helmet, which is a Starstorm, that's right. I just wasn't a fan of that guy. And, you know, Sinestro just basically puts on the helmet for Starstorm, and they come into Larissa, and just does this one little battle scene, and she's like gone, beat up on the floor, and he takes the page. And I mean, again, the biggest page in this book was this one right here, when he sees everything that's going on or what is going to happen in the future. So there looks like this book is definitely going to be picking up very soon, and I'm sure with the other Green Lantern books. I do read all three. I read Green Lantern Corps, I read Green Lantern, and the New Guardians. This is my favorite, and then Guardians is my second favorite. Corps I'm not too huge upon. I was actually thinking of dropping that book, but since this new story arc is going to come around soon, I'm going to hang on to all three books because I'm sure there'll be tie-ins. There always is, so they can make you buy the three books. So I'm going to hold on to that. Last two books here. Green Arrow issues 5 and Green Arrow issue 6. These were just catch-up issues for me. Green Arrow in issue number 5, he faces off with the Blood Rose and this other character called Midas, and this is this guy right here, and he was created by some toxic explosion. This comic is pretty cool. I mean, I like it. There's no real, like, I've said this before, Green Arrow reminds me of a 90s comic book. There's no, like, real huge, major, you know, life-altering plot line or storyline. It's just a comic where the main character fights evil villains, and that's the end of the issue. That's about it. So it reminds me of how comics used to be, without major plot lines. It's just a fun read if you're just looking for some action, some nice artwork, and overall, overall to me, it's a good book. I mean, I love the art. It looks pretty. It's colorful. And unfortunately, I mean, they're going to a new artist, but it does look pretty good in the future. But this book was pretty neat because he fights this toxic guy, which I thought was pretty neat. And he's virtually almost unstoppable. But of course, Green Arrow, you know, comes up with some special arrows in the whole grand scheme of things, and he basically defeats this guy. And you can see here he's just sticking them with all kinds of arrows. And that's basically issues 5 and 6. It's basically both of them together because it definitely continues in issue number 6. And Blood Rose gets in the battle, and she basically, you know, wants to, she points a gun over to Green Arrow, but he's not the target. Oliver McQueen was the target of this whole charade, but again, of course, you know, Oliver and Green Arrow are the same person, so of course he's got to go after him. And I do like how Oliver has his little sidekicks to guide him through everything, kind of how Chloe was in Smallville. He's got, I can't remember the girl's name, but the guy's name is Jax, and he's got this other girl, and they're always in his ear telling him, you know, what about the main character, or what about the evil character that he's facing, what's their powers, what's their weaknesses, how to, you know, match up against them. So without those two people, he's definitely not as strong as he should be. So, but we see at the end of issue number 6 that Oliver basically uses an arrow to explode everyone around him, and that's how he actually wins the battle. And we find out that Blood Rose is actually not human. she is a robot. And it's kind of weird because this toxic guy, who was once a human, never had anybody, but he created her. He's the one who made her, and he loves her. And since she's a robot and she's programmed, I guess she loves him too. And at the end of the issue, it's kind of like a Romeo and Juliet thing, is that they are still living, and Green Arrow doesn't know it, but you see him already putting her back together. So, I mean, it's just a fun read. I'm not, you know, not really expecting anything out of it. I just enjoy it. It's just different, because sometimes our comics are so in depth with stories and we read a lot of them. Sometimes you're just looking for a fun comic book to read, and for me, this is one of them. And I know it's not one of the most popular, but if you're looking for a fun read, good art, nice colors, Green Arrow is the place to be, or book to read. So, sorry this video got out a little later than I have liked. I had a lot of videos to post in the past couple of days. I had to work a lot this week, and there was a lot of books for me to read. But that is the stack for this week. I hope you guys got a little bit of an idea of what every book there went through and what I'm dropping, and basically the only book that I'm dropping there is Action Comics. So, but that is it for this week's Spider Slayer stack. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will be seeing you guys soon. So until the next review, this is Spider Slayer signing off. Thank you for watching, and subscribe to Comic Book Corner today. Thanks, guys. Have a good night. Take care. Bye.